Welcome to Earth Centric Lighting, for everything lighting related and how to use lighting in your projects and life. Hey guys, welcome and thank you for tuning into the show. Today I'm going to talk about visualization software. It's a pretty big one because a lot of people can understand light to a certain degree or lighting design, but to really to be able to show them what it looks like, there's a big difference there as far as being able to see it because I feel like you can become a verbal ninja and learn all the lingo and how to talk to a customer, but they're not lighting nerds like most of us lighting designers or those in the lighting industry are. They're more like, how's this going to help me? How I don't even understand. So having a good visualization program, or at least understanding of it, can really help you out. So we just did a job here, and I went out and took a picture because this is another good aspect. A lot of people can do the visualization software, but then a complaint that I hear a lot of architects and contractors say, or developers, is like, how do you get the real thing to look like that visualization? Because this looks nothing like it. That's where you got to actually know what you're doing with lighting, and you got to actually understand the photometrics and take the time, the detailed time it goes through to actually pick the fixture, look at the optics, look at the bug rating, see if it's going to perform the way it does, see if it's right for that environment. Try it out in your visualization or in your photometric software, which is different from your visualization software. And then if it doesn't work, then you go start again and research. If it's out of budget, you start again and go find a different one. And you got to make it look right because we just did this job and I drove by it the other day. I was like, oh man, who did that? That looks amazing. Not to brag. And it was a job that we did. And I didn't even know it was done because the contractor didn't tell us. And normally they don't. It's not on the forefront of their mind to reach out to the design team after it's completed. Usually it's just done. You don't ever get a call. Nothing goes wrong. But I drove out there and I took a picture and I compared it to the uh, visualization that we did, and it looks exactly the same. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two. And it's on our Instagram page and Facebook if you follow us. If not, our Instagram handle is just at tklightingdesign.com, and it's in the show notes as well if you want to see it. But uh, there's not really good. I take that back. There are some coming out that are good now. And of course, with AI, you can use AI, but some of that stuff's not really realistic. It throws in so many layers of light that don't really belong in certain spots. But it'll probably get better. Um, and as far as like Dialux, that's a photometric software. It does a numbers calculation to see how many foot candles are getting to the floor. For those of you who don't know, or lux and foot candles and lux are a measurement of light. Foot candles is just per square foot, the amount of candles per square foot. Lux is the metric version of that. So like 30-foot candles is wait, I'm doing this backwards. Yeah, no, 30-foot candles would be like 300 lux. Is the rough equivalent. It's like 10.126 or something like that. That you got to multiply it by. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I just do 10 times 10. But so Dialux Evo, it does the photometric calcs. There's other photometric programs out there too, some free ones. There's Visual, which is the Qt brand's photometric software, and that's the one I'm used to. Not a lot of people like it. They kind of, some people give it grief. I don't know why, but I just used to work for the Qt rep. So that's what I trained myself on essentially, was doing photometrics through the visual program. They got a free version and they have a $200 a year version. And it has a rendering option. If you hit the render, it looks like a very much freaking claymation type not even as good as that. It's pretty bad. Um, Same thing with the Dialux Evo. It looks a lot better, but you can tell it's fake. So when I started my business, I really wanted to show people, like, because again, I was this verbal ninja talking about lighting design, and people weren't just getting the picture. But then once I found a program that I could show them what layering in light looks like, what grazing a wall does to the space, what washing it does, versus just putting in 4 can lights and having it flood the room, how dull that room looks compared to when there's lighting that's layered in there. It creates it 3D, it eliminates the cave effect, it makes it feel completely different, look and feel. And you can tell that even with the visualization. Um, so usually when I design, I do the same thing 3 different times because there's not great lighting software out there that I'm aware of that does all 3 at once. So I do the visual photometrics. I do all the photometrics through visual, and that's, if you're doing photometrics, that could be visual, that could be Dialux, that could be I'm not thinking of the names, but there's a couple other photometric companies out there. And then I also do draw up the plans uh, on SketchUp, and some people use SketchUp, some people use Bluebeam, some people use um, Revit. I like SketchUp because it also, I can take the architect's SketchUp files or their Revit files and integrate it into SketchUp, and I can sync it up with my uh, excuse me, with my visualization software. That doesn't mean that it does it at the same time, unfortunately. But if I add materials, it will, but not as far as like marking up lights and creating an actual plan. SketchUp has SketchUp layout where I can actually take that 3D model, put sections in it, and then I can draw in the lighting to create the plan and draw how far off the wall some of the lights need to be, what types they are, where they're being placed, where they're being aimed, um, all that stuff. But as far as the visualization goes, there's Photoshop, obviously. Lots of people use that. Revit actually has twin motion integrated into it, but their lighting placement and accuracy kind of sucks. It's not a true representation of what the light's going to do. But twin motion is the visualization software that I use, and that's the third thing that I do. I take that architect's 3D model, I load it up into SketchUp, and then I create the section cuts to generate the plan in SketchUp layout, and then I sync it up with twin motion, and then I draw in the lighting in the twin motion, and I draw in the lighting in the for the plan in SketchUp, and do the photometrics on visual. And the way I first discovered twin motion was uh, I was looking for something like that that could I could figure out how to show people what lighting is. And my brother-in-law, who was in actually, I think he went to school for some pretty tech stuff, and he was doing he does photography and videography, um, but he also dabbled in a little bit of movie making. He said to check out Blender, and I checked out Blender, and that was more of like a uh, it does have good lighting as well, but that's something that for like drawing up characters and things like that for a movie. But another equivalent that's 100% free, unless you're making over like I think it was $1 million, then they charge you, or no, I think it was like $10 million. So if you're starting out, it's a free program, and the one I started on was Unreal Engine 5, and it's by Epic Games. And Epic Games makes Unreal Engine, and they also made an architectural version for architects and designers, or branding, or people who do product imaging. It's called Twin Motion. It's more simplified because you don't need to make a game, but still they have lots of um, preloaded characters that you can put in there for movement to make it seem real. Lots of different trees. You can adjust the size. You can adjust the what season they look like they're in. Uh, so many millions and millions of different materials to choose from. Um, so being a lighting designer, you gotta get pretty creative. Now, a lot of these jobs, I'm not usually just doing the lighting too. Sometimes I'm modifying certain things in the landscape or the materials to make it look a certain way, or help a client out maybe if they don't have an architect. Like another job I did is I used Polycam. I went out there with an iPad and I scanned the building and it created a 3D rendering image. And the important thing with Polycam is to have a camera on it that has a LiDAR because then it helps out with the measurements and you can record it instead of taking pictures and it's way more accurate. And then I downloaded that 3D model and I put it in Twinmotion in SketchUp and I use that as basically the architectural set to create the plans off of. So with if you're new to it and you're wanting to learn into it, there's you just I would Google learning how to use Unreal Engine 5. I would learn that first. That's the way I did it, and I did not regret it at all before learning Twinmotion because Twinmotion is easier and it's good to have both of those understanding of how they work. But Unreal Engine 5, I would just Google on YouTube, or excuse me, Google on YouTube. You can either Google or search on YouTube, how lesson on how to use Unreal Engine 5. And there's this really good 30-minute lesson on there, and just do like, you know, 10 minutes a day. Oh, I take that back. It wasn't 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm going from memory here. It was probably like 3 hours. So yeah, that's what I did. Is I did 30 minutes a day, and then I got 3 hours of it, and I got a good understanding of um, how Unreal Engine worked for creating an entire scene. We built like this super cool castle. The guy walks you through it. He walks you through the lighting. He walks you through the materials. He walks you through nanites and point cloud and all this different stuff that are tools to just make your project stand out. And once you get the hang of Unreal Engine 5, Twinmotion is pretty easy after that because it's real easy to follow. Um, and it's more user friendly. It's made more for architects and designers. And the Unreal Engine version, you could, if you know how to build code, and it goes over that a little bit, you can dang near make it do anything you wanted to, create a whole entire world in that uh, in that gaming program. So another good thing to note is that in Twinmotion they have certain what they call when you click on the lights, they have IES files, and these lights that you put in, gotta hand it to the gamers, man. They know how to make stuff look good because it's the best lighting rendering I've seen compared to all the actual lighting photometric companies or actual lighting software, design software, which there's not much out there that's very useful. So that's what we did. Just to cap on again, we used Twinmotion, a photometric software, which is this case is visual for me, and then a drafting software, which is SketchUp, and sometimes a little bit of Bluebeam. But just to warn you, the IES files they have loaded, they're not performing. It says IES file, but you can adjust it and do whatever you want with the cone angle. You can adjust the how far out the light protrudes. You can change the shadows. You can change the color temperature, and you can actually change the color of the light if you have a project where the client wants RGB and they're wanting the lights to change color. Um, the thing I just would very, very much warn you of is you can actually select one of those lights and upload your IES file. It's not going to perform the way it would in photometrics. So just uploading that file into Twinmotion and putting it in your visualization software and be like, oh, sweet, the job's going to look like that. That's not how it works. It doesn't. It has a certain parameters, and it functions only within those parameters, and those parameters always make it look good. because it's a visualization software. It's supposed to make it look good. So you gotta actually do again the hard labor work and the research of finding the right product, doing the photometrics, and reading the numbers and understand how to read an IES sheet and be like, this is going to perform and look this way unless there's something changes on the job. um, and be fairly confident that that's how it's going to perform. Um, but yeah, that's I think the best one. If there are other visualization softwares out there, I'm sure they're great. I mean, I know you could probably use Blender and do something similar, but I would highly, highly recommend if you're looking into it, using uh, Twinmotion by Epic Games and Unreal Engine. You can check out both of those, and I would start with Unreal Engine first. So if you guys want, you can check out my YouTube channel, TK Line Design, and there's a few lessons in there using Twinmotion, and you can see it on how to use, like how to do facade lighting design, the lighting design process. And I'll see if I can't put those in the links, but the link to my YouTube channel is in the show notes as well. But we do have a course on our website that uses that. I'm using that Twinmotion for kitchen lighting design that's for sale to understand how to light and design the lighting in your kitchen. We will be putting out a course for the visualization software as well to help those of you who want to learn more and want to make your job and your project stand out, how to use that. So I'm going to put a course on there as well too. That will be its own individual course, but there'll be a full 8-module course for everything that I know, everything that I've learned over the past 25 years and building this business and through hard trial and error, and get you running up to speed in just literally a 4-hour course. So I'm looking forward to that. Been working on that for a little bit now, but it's going to be really good. And I just wanted to do this podcast here to let you guys know, because I'm sure some of you, maybe you're architects or maybe you're contractors that do your own design builds or interior designers, probably weren't even aware of Twinmotion or Unreal Engine. And when I brought these projects to the client and I walked them through this 3D freaking rendering, like in real time, and show them this is what's going to look like, they're blown away. Even the architects that are making way more than I do most of the time don't do this type of rendering or show it with their clients because they don't know how to. But you can teach yourself just honestly with YouTube, and even go to my YouTube channel and take a look and just trial and error and practice. And again, you can Google or YouTube how to design in Twinmotion or how to design in Unreal Engine 5, and there should be a good 3-hour lesson there. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now so I don't give you guys the wrong one, because I want to find the guy that I use because he was so good for the Unreal Engine. Let's see here. I do not regret taking it at all. Let's see how to design with UE5. UE5 is what it's called. Let's see here. Is there a way to filter this from previously watched? Let's see. I know I'm bad. I'm doing a podcast and I'm searching stuff right now, making you guys wait for me. See how to design with UE5. Let's see, castle, because there was a castle in it. There's other ones. A ton of them are popping up. So you're not limited. There we go. Here it is. Excuse me, let me back up. I got ADHD if that's not obvious. There's lots of other options for you to choose from for YouTube videos here, but this is the one I would highly recommend. And it was a UE5 beginner tutorial, and its title is called Unreal Engine 5 Beginner Tutorial UE5 Starter Course, and it was by Unreal Sensei, like Unreal Engine, but UNREAL space, and then Sensei, Sensei. So I would highly recommend that one, and I hope you check it out. And I hope you got some value from this podcast. I know it's a quick one, but I did want to talk about visualization software to kind of help end the season, because I think that's a big one that could help out a lot of people who are wanting to do design and set themselves apart from the rest of the the design industry. And if you do the work and put it in and don't just, I think, press a button, I think people will notice. It might take some time, but you will set yourself apart and get some bigger jobs because of it. Uh, and this is our last episode for the season. We do 12 episodes a year, just one each month. And so if you guys want to become a sponsor, if anyone wants to become a sponsor, maybe you're a manufacturer, or maybe you don't have uh, anything to do with lighting and you just like the show and want to get a different brand of listeners out there, please uh, look in the show notes here and reach out to me. We do have sponsorship programs, whether it's just one video or one episode, 3-episode package or 12-episode package. Or if you want to come on the show and do an interview, that would be great, because obviously we don't just have lighting design professionals. We have had some pretty great lighting design professionals. We've had custom integrators come on. We had David Warfill, Light Can Help You. We had Robert Soler, BIOS Lighting. He was really great and very knowledgeable. And then I've had a couple shows where I'm just talking myself. But I've also had some other people that talk about their inner light or mental health and wellness, or psych and different things to try to just help out. And that's kind of, Earth Centric Lighting doesn't really need to be in a box. So if you have something that you want to get out there into the world and you want to get an interview, please reach out to me, because I'd love to have you on the show. All right. Thanks, guys.